Is this the end of the GOP and the Republican Party? The same end that the Democrats want? We got that and more on this episode of The Latino Conservative. Hey everybody, welcome to 2023. This is the first episode of many for the 2023 year. We've got big plans coming for this year. And welcome back. It's been a long time, right? Been on hiatus, finished a campaign last year, didn't win, unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time. Learned a lot of things from that campaign and looking forward to doing it again. So what do we have in store for this year? Lots and lots. For this episode, though, let's start talking about the end of the Republican Party. What does that mean? So, we all just witnessed the debacle that happened with the electing of the Speaker of the House. We saw the Republican Party basically split. It was a small split, but it was a split nonetheless. That split was scary. You had members of the Freedom Caucus voting for other parties. Kevin McCarthy was ultimately elected, but the big thing is there was a split. Hakeem Jefferies was the Democrats' nominee, and they were behind him 100%. Now, I get it. I get what the Freedom Caucus was trying to do, trying to make a stand, trying to get some rules set in place for this session of Congress. I get it. But how far? How far do they need to go? How close do we need to come to losing the speakership to actually get that point across? At the end of the day, what it amounts to is that they're playing politics, and they're playing a scary game of politics. Now, I personally absolutely loathe the fact that we are all practically put into one of two categories, Republican or Democrat. Yes, there's Green Party. Yes, there's Libertarian. There's countless of other parties out there. If you really want to see how many parties are out there, try running for Congress. And you'll see all of the listed parties when you go set up your account with the FEC. There's a lot of them. There's a freaking communist party here in the United States. But at the end of the day, Republican and Democrat. That's all that is. That's all that is. You can go set up a debate. Actually, no, you can't go set one up. But when the presidential debates happen, there's always only two people. You know, Jo Jorgensen ran in the 2020 elections. She wasn't anywhere in there. She's a libertarian. We've got millions of libertarians in this country, and they deserve to be heard too, right? But what's going on right now is essentially kind of what's happened whenever a libertarian president runs. That libertarian candidate, or I should say, a libertarian candidate runs for presidency. That libertarian candidate basically steals votes from one party, most of the times Republican Party, because the Republican Party kind of aligns more with libertarians than Democrats, because the Libertarian Party, you know, they want no government, whereas Republicans and conservatives want small government. Libertarians want no government. Leave me alone. Don't tread on me. That type of thing. And I kind of see that happening with the Republican Party now. See, you've got the Freedom Caucus, which one of the candidates that I ran against is a member of the Freedom Caucus. Michael Cloud, Matt Gaetz, 50 others, I want to say, 20 or 50 or something like that. I forget the exact number. But they are kind of taking votes away, and they did. They took votes away from the Republican, whereas the Freedom Caucus reps would be the Libertarian, quote unquote. And if you're watching this or listening to this on audio, I'm doing the air quotes right now. But those candidates were basically taking votes away. and he almost lost. I think Hakeem Jefferies got, the max was 212 votes, if I'm not mistaken. How many weak Republicans out there could have been persuaded by a Democrat because of power, because of money? Or maybe they were moderate Republicans that ran on a Republican ticket for political reasons because they saw that maybe they had a better chance of running as a Democrat than a Republican. They had a better chance of running as a Republican than a Democrat, but they had no chance of running as an independent because they really are independent, but they could go either way. See what I mean? But what's going to happen is eventually the Republican Party is going to split. You've got your Freedom Caucus or the MAGA Republicans. Then you've got your GOP Republicans. Two separate entities, two separate bodies. The MAGA Republicans and the GOP Republicans. They are two separate things. Yeah, they have that name Republican after them, but that's just the name. What happens when they split? If they split into two parties, no more Republican. No more, none at all. The Democrats are going to have free reign over everything unless both parties come together and unite. And that's what the Democrats are doing. They unite. They find what they want, and then everybody goes in and, they call it lockstep. I don't like that term, but essentially that's what happens. They stand united. Even though I don't agree with about 75% of what they stand united for, they stand united. And quite frankly, I cannot hate that at all. Them standing united is what we should be doing as a Republican Party instead of fighting each other for political reasons. What it amounted to was just rules, right? They just wanted to change of rules. Really? At the end of the day, that's like saying, I'm taking my ball and going home. Cry me a river. Next topic. But before we get into that next topic, you know the drill. And I'm asking, since I'm just relaunching this channel, go hit that subscribe button, share this, and hit that bell notification so you know when I upload new videos. And eventually, sometime around the spring-ish, I'm going to start going live. Hit that bell button so you know when I go live or when I upload new videos. And drop me a comment to let me know that you're listening out there. Hello? Anybody listening? Hi. Okay, so next topic. This one's kind of off the cuff. I was at the gym this morning, getting in shape for my next campaign, though I can't say officially where my next campaign is going to be. But if you want to help towards my top secret project, I'm also going to drop a link down to my GoFundMe that has a goal that I'm capping off at that I can't go over yet, quote unquote. If you want to help out towards that top secret project that I'm working on, go show me some love on my GoFundMe. But either way, I was at the gym getting ready, getting fit, or healthy might be a better word. I'm on the treadmill, just trucking along. Yes, I'm feeling good. And I look up at the TVs that they have, and I see a CNN screen. And I took a quick picture. Here's that picture. But it says, another NFL black coach was fired. Okay. So, that black coach that they're talking about was from the Houston Texans. Anybody pay attention to the Houston Texans lately? Now, they try to make it seem like, racial right off the bat. The black coach was fired after one season. Has anyone paid attention to the Texans this year? They can't fill the stadium. They're letting seats go for $25 because they are absolutely sucking. I live in Houston myself. I'm a Cowboys fan, so don't hate me. But what is their record? 3-13-2? Yeah, 3-13-2. Wow. Now, I've been in the car business for 15 plus years. I've been in management prior to that. Different management spots have different contracts, different terms of employment. And no doubt that an NFL head coach has a contract. He got paid. Now, also, this is the NFL, Professional Football League, National Football League, where they get paid millions of dollars. This dude better freaking win. And with my management background, if we had a manager that was underperforming, he'd get the cut. He might get 1 or 2 months to make it better. But ultimately, if he wasn't performing, he got cut. Now, they try to say after one season. Yes, one season. 13 losses in that one season. Only 3 wins. If you suck that bad, you deserve to get fired. I mean, winning 3 games, that pretty much goes without saying. You just got to show up and play. Because even the Super Bowl champs are going to lose a game every now and then, and that's what happened. They ran into a few teams that just lost that game, or they sucked harder than they did. Flat out, plain and simple. Not trying to be nice about it because they were sucking. But they try to take it to the race part of it. Oh, another black coach was fired. Found that on CNN, and on CNN they called it, like on their website, they said, dumpster fire. Why one NFL team is being criticized for recent layoff. And here's the headline, like the first paragraph. The Houston Texans have fired head coach Lovie Smith after just 1 season in charge. Smith is the second black head coach in the last just 1 season with the team. So what's going on with this is twofold. Could be twofold. I'm not going to try to be dogmatic. This is just my opinion. And again, this is my opinion as an opinionator, pontificator. I like that term. I heard that term this morning. But one, how about just say coach to be fired, not black coach? Because if we keep dividing like that in our terminology, mainstream media, it's going to perpetuate the divide. Y'all are driving the wedge in that divide and making it wider. Second thing, the Texans, I believe, might have hired a quote-unquote black coach to hire a black coach. The same reason Joe Biden hired Karine Jean-Pierre for her, how would I say? They hired her because of what she was, not who she was. And I think that's why these head coaches were hired for the Texans, because of what they were, not who they were. One thing for sure, they weren't winners. They sucked. The Houston Texans need to bring somebody to their coaching staff that can make a difference. Hell, I will volunteer as a coach. Well, not volunteer. You pay me half of his salary and then a bonus for every game we win. I will play. I will be the coach. I've managed many teams, many different industries. I've gone in and I have built teams up from scratch with little to no experience in the field that I was building that team in, and I was still successful. Why? Because I know how to look for successful people, and I know how to motivate people, and I know how to get stuff done. I know how to get people to get stuff done. But it takes a little bit of knowledge with people. And I understand these are all highly paid professional athletes with their A-type personalities, boo-hoo, cry me river. If you can't do the job, also player, you need to get off the field and maybe not get paid for that game. If you can't listen, you're going to get fined. That type of thing. It's more than just running drills and throwing the ball and catching the ball. It's running a business. And I have never had an unsuccessful team in business. Never once. So I'll get off of my soapbox on that. But Houston Texans, if you're out there, I live in Houston. I will coach the team. Head coach the team for 1 year. Try me out for 1 year. You could say you had a Latino head coach with no NFL experience. I will study the art. I will be a better head coach than your last 2 head coaches, and I will have a higher winning record. And you'll pay me half of what they made. Just give me a winning bonus. That's it. Try me out for a year. If I don't do good in a year, fire me. I'll be the 3rd minority person that you fired after 1 season. So moving on. President Joe Biden finally visited the border. Kinda. He visited his border on his way to Mexico. They're going to have some meeting there, meeting of the minds between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. And talk about whatever's kind of socialist. Because, Mexico and Canada, they're very liberal stuff. And I say socialist in place of liberal because they're kind of the same to me. But so he decided to go visit the border in El Paso. Now, I've been to the border in California, Arizona, not quite New Mexico yet. Haven't made it to that part of the border yet. In Texas, all over the place. I've been to them. A lot more in Texas than the other states, just because of work. I've traveled for work, though I'm working from home now, but I traveled for work for the past 5 years. Been all over this country, spent a lot of time on the border. El Paso is a border town. El Paso is one of the safest cities in the United States. Right across the border, Juarez, Mexico, one of the most dangerous cities in, not Mexico, but in the world. That's right. From United States to Juarez, Mexico, El Paso to Juarez, one of the most dangerous cities in the world as opposed to one of the safest cities. You know what they have there? I'll give you a second to think about it. They have the wall. That's right. The wall is there in El Paso. Go figure. Hey, it might actually do something. But El Paso has done a great job of cleaning up their cities, of taking care of the homeless. And it's not a bad place. The food is great in El Paso. My goodness. I love eating at Rosa's Cantina. Hey, plug in for Rosa's Cantina. If you're there, send me some coupons or something. It's great. Actually, I've got a wooden pog from them that gives me a free beer next time I go. But it is a safe place. I remember hanging out there after work one time with some of the staff that I was working with. And coming from my background, I've seen a lot of gang activity. I've been exposed to a lot. I've never been a member of one, never participated in any activities like that or anything. I've always shied away from that. I was the band nerd, and I went to church. I didn't want anything to do with that, though I have family that participated in that and close friends that participated in that. I just saw it. I just never partook of it. But I knew what to look for. And I knew the calling cards. Then I saw the calling cards there in El Paso. We were out at a bar having a couple drinks, job well done, successful week of work. Let's go have a couple drinks. So we did that. And I see the calling cards walk in. I tense up a little bit because, I didn't know. This was actually my first visit to El Paso, and I didn't know the difference between Juarez and El Paso. I didn't know that they're that different. And one of the staff members that was there with me, he kind of saw me tense up a little bit. And he's from the Houston area as well. Just works now in El Paso and lives in El Paso. He gave me reassurance. It's not like that here. I'm like, whoa, time out. I see all these people walking in wearing the same colors. He goes, no. It's not like that here. That's just college colors here. Those are our colors, college colors. So, big difference. Now, mind you, like any other big city, there's going to be some violence out there every now and then, but it's nothing like the border. Nothing like my experience in McAllen, Texas, where I was almost on Border Wars show. You know, where I was right there by the river, and I saw a helicopter come up, go into attack position, and then I hear automatic fire from the other side of the border. And then I get away from that spot as quick as I can, and I go to another spot on the river where there's a restaurant, and I see Border Patrol boats zooming by, chasing after somebody. It's nothing like that at all. It was safe, it was secure, and they had a wall. But Joe Biden went there. He invited Gregg Abbot, the governor of Texas, to go meet him on the tarmac. You know, why? You know, Joe Biden has failed Texas, which is failing the United States, but he has failed Texas in securing the border and in basically everything because of politics. Because he doesn't like that Texas is governed by a Republican governor, that his boy Beto O'Rourke lost. He's holding funds from us, holding security from us, and leaving our southern border wide open for criminals to come over. Now, I'm going to say this right off. Not everybody that comes over is like the violent criminal. Technically, they are criminals because they're breaking our laws by coming over the border illegally. But not all of them are, you know, the gang members and stuff like that. There are some people that come over that are trying to find a better life. I've witnessed that part too. They just choose to come over before they get allowed over and try to, how do I explain this? Best way to explain this. They try to get legalized while they are here to make it easier so they don't have to wait until they get here. Because it can take 10 years sometimes. But Biden has failed Texas and the United States. Has criticized Governor Abbott for doing what he did, doing the same exact thing he did by moving immigrants from Texas to other parts of the country. You know, Joe Biden did that, but he did it in secret. He had immigrants flown from San Antonio to Tennessee, all over the country. Nobody knew about it because it happened in the dead of night in airports. Nobody knew about it till airport security and airport staff started leaking this information out. Then you would see immigrants with folders in their hands and wristbands and saying, I don't speak English and stuff like that. They get free health care. They get free this. They get free that. Heck, I kind of want to go to Mexico and come over illegally so I can get all that free stuff too. You know, I'm type 2 diabetic. You know, I could use some little extra care. But he wanted to meet on a tarmac and not in an office. You don't have time to do anything important on a tarmac. You don't. Gregg Abbott delivered this letter. And I'll leave a link for it in the comments or in the description. But he delivered a letter. A couple bullet points on this letter. You must comply with the many statutes mandating that various categories of aliens shall be detained. And in the practice of unlawful paroling aliens en masse. Funny word. Anyway. Also it says, you must stop sandbagging. I got to zoom in a little bit, sorry. I'm working with some vision issues right now too. Okay, it says, you must stop sandbagging the implementation of Remain in Mexico policy and Title 42 expulsion and fully enforce those measures as a federal court have ordered you to do so. You must aggressively prosecute illegal entry between ports of entry and allow ICE to remove illegal immigrants in accordance with existing federal laws. You must immediately resume construction of the border wall in the state of Texas using the billions of dollars Congress has approved for that purpose, you must designate the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Those last two bullet points there. Billions of dollars Congress has approved. When Donald Trump had that, we had a Democrat Congress, right? When Donald Trump was president, Congress approved that bill that allowed for money to be poured into the border wall. Okay. So he's not doing what his Democratic colleagues asked him to do. Also, you must designate the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organization. Violent, weapons, fentanyl, all of that is coming over through the cartels. The cartels are waging a war right now against the Mexican army because they incarcerated, what's that guy's name? They incarcerated one head drug cartel, and the name is skipping my mind right now. But they're waging a war against them. No doubt they would wage a war against us too if we did the same thing. So, think back to Virginia, where not that long ago, just a couple years ago, or just around the country in general. Let's go back to one of the lowest forms of government. I say lowest, one of the most local forms of government is probably a better term. School boards. We've got people trying to designate parents that are standing up for their children's rights and for their rights as parents to parent their children and to have a say in what their children learn and what they don't learn, more importantly. We've got people trying to label them as terrorists. That's a big difference there, right? Cartels, killing people. Parents, making sure their kids actually learn something in school that is valuable. A marketable education to make their kids marketable in the future. And by marketable, I mean make it allowable so their kids can get a good job later on in life. So their kids can go to college if they choose. And if they don't go to college, make it so they have the common sense and the education to do what they need to do to survive and be a contributing member of the society. No, those people are terrorists. Not these cartels that are sending enough drugs over every day to kill every American in this country. That are taking some of those kids that the people are standing up for and trafficking them, enslaving them, that are killing people. The list goes on. The list goes on. They're not afraid. These cartels, these gang members, these terrorists are fighting against their own country's military. You mark my words. Eventually, they're going to take out that president, and they're the Mexican version of the Taliban. That's all they are. The Mexican version of Taliban. And they are knocking right at our southern border, which is unsecured. But our president, and I use that term loosely, wants to go to a town that is secured by a wall, that has been cleaned up by the city. And yes, it is a Democrat city, but you know what? They're still doing the work. And I can stand for that. They're doing the real work, not this political bullshit. He wants to go there, make friends, all so he can remain in power and so his son doesn't go to jail. Hey guys, thanks for letting me rant and rave at you this week. I look forward to a great year 2023 Everything is going to be awesome. It's going to be a great year for us. But we got to fight for it. We got to stand up for what we believe. And I know through all of this turmoil that seems to be happening all the time, all of this Republican versus Democrat, wars, Ukraine, Russia, all of that, sometimes it gets us a little depressed. I know that. I've been a victim of it myself. But the one thing that has helped me get through that is remembering that God still sits on that throne. He is the ruler of this universe. And at the end of the day, everything we do is for God. My name is Andrew Alvarez. I'm the Latino conservative. Thank you.